All right. Hi, Erin. How are you?
Hi, Douglas. I'm so good. How are you?
Doing fine. Thank you. Thank you for coming on this show. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Do I call you a fitness guru? Are you one of those or no?
You do not. I'm a mom, to be honest. I'm a fit mom, I say, who kind of figured out a balanced lifestyle of finding her best body later in life. Where I think a lot of women, once you're a mom, you're kind of focused on your kids. You kind of feel like it's too late in my life. I'm too old and you don't really have time to be in the gym. I wrote this story because I found my best body as a mom. I'm not a trainer, I'm not a nutritionist, but Douglas, I have done the work. I struggled for 20 years before finding this lifestyle of balance.
Okay, so the book is called Squats and Margaritas, and you also have a podcast of the same name?
I do. And a funny story how that happened. Never thought a podcast was ever going to be in my future. And during the pandemic, I had a 2 and a 4-year-old. And I would go live on Instagram and be like, what is everyone doing with their kids? What am I supposed to do with them every day? And I was just trying to like entertain my small following at the time. I said, pour a cocktail. On Thursday nights, we'll talk about, scavenger hunts or what to do with your kids. And unbeknownst to me, there was a program director at a radio station in Washington, D.C. And they called me after I did a few shows and said, we want this to be a podcast on Podcast One. They sent me the equipment, they produce it and promote it on their radio station. And I'm a podcaster now.
Well, that's incredible. That's
Yeah,
great.
thank you.
So, what do you guys talk about on the podcast?
I try to find moms who have kind of overcome something and have them tell their story about how they made it to their best self. For me, my story, I dealt with eating disorders and just lack of self-love. I struggled with body image for 20 years. And we talk about finding yourself again, how it's not too late. I've had some fun guests. I've had Katie Couric share her battle with bulimia. We both had the same struggles, some actresses. And my hope is that anyone that watches my show, you're never going to leave feeling alone. I share everything like I do in my book and try to bring on really authentic guests who will tell it like it is, share everything, and make you feel like you're not the only one, that there's hope, and that you can come through anything at any age.
So, is this video cast as well, or just audio?
It's audio. Well, we talk face to face, kind of like we are now, because I just like having conversations face to face. But it's audio wherever you get podcasts.
Okay, but I mean, you don't have a video of the show on,
No, I
no?
should. I like that idea, Douglas.
Well, a lot of podcasts are doing that these days. I mean, they videotape the actual, whatever the conversation is. The problem is if you get somebody calling in on the phone, you're kind of stuck for what do you do with the video while they're talking. If they come in on Zoom, then you can use the Zoom feed to get their face.
I record over Zoom, Douglas, but the other problem that I'm seeing here is that I have to get ready. And the beauty of podcasting is that nobody can see me.
Well,
They don't have
that's
to put on
true.
makeup. I don't have to do my hair. So it's one challenge that I'm seeing with the Zoom podcasting.
There is that. You do have to get dressed to
You
get
know,
on camera.
I'm used
Yeah,
to podcasting in my pajamas.
I hear you. I mean, I have two different shows.
Uh-huh.
We decided to split the audio podcast from this show that you're on now. So this is a
Yeah.
completely different format. It's a different show. They don't overlap. So when I do my audio podcast, I don't have to be dressed at all. But with this, I gotta get dressed up and get the cameras set, the lights, and all of that. So
Yeah.
there is more work to it.
Yeah. The beauty of podcasting is that nobody sees you and you can run in, like wake up, get ready for a show, then go pick up my kids off the bus. It's the only way that I can make it work, honestly, Douglas. Like as a mom, I have a 3-year-old and a 6-year-old. And I'm building this brand and trying to share my story while also dealing with the guilt of feeling like I'm not with my kids enough. We talk about that a lot on the podcast. Like any mom that's trying to build something and feeling like the guilt of not just being full time with their kids. And I feel like there's that societal pressure. Like you're working, like what are you working on? Where are your kids? And it's tough.
The other thing that is good about what you're doing is that you can stay home and do all of this, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, the fact that I have a radio station producing it now, they sent me everything I needed. I book my guests, we do the show, I send it to them. They put all their little editing on it, make it sound great, send it out, advertise it for me. It's like it fell into my lap and I can't imagine doing anything else now. I love the podcast and there's no way I would have been able to connect with the women that I've been able to connect with had I not had this platform. So it's great.
So your book, Squats and Margaritas, that came out of this podcast? Which came first, the book or the podcast?
It's a great question. The book. When I turned about 37, after having both of my kids, I got in the best shape of my life. And originally, I was like, I'm just going to share this as a guide for any woman who is doing what I did, which is barely eating, working out 7 days a week, and starving themselves and frustrated that they're not seeing results. I said, I'm going to do this guide, and I got a writing coach and I sent her all these pages and she was like, who are you? Like, are you a trainer? Are you a nutritionist? Like, what are your credentials? And I said, I'm not any of those things, but it's my experience. Like, I've lived this. And she kept saying, like, you don't have any credibility. You have to tell your story. And I alluded to it earlier. I hadn't told anyone, Douglas, about my struggles with bulimia. That was like my biggest secret. I struggled for 10 years. And I still didn't want to do it. And this writing coach was like, you have to tell your story. Then you can get to the part about helping other women. And I fought her on it. And then I finally just wrote it. It didn't even make it back to her yet. And it was like, it's out and I can breathe. And I sent it back to her and she picked up the phone and said, this is your book. She's like, we're going to rework this, and this story and your struggle to finding the balance, this is what you need to be writing.
So maybe you could give me just a little bit of advice. I am 60 years old. I've struggled with my weight for the last 15 years. I try to eat healthy. Exercise is not something that I do very well. So where would I start? I mean, I've tried to diet. I lose a little bit, then it comes back. I do like my food, but I'm careful with it. I've tried to cut down on carbs. I try not to eat ice cream every 25 minutes.
Yeah.
But where do I...
You're doing everything right. Exercise, a few days a week. It doesn't have to be every day because then you get overwhelmed by it. And it's like, you try to do all or nothing and you're like, I'm going to exercise every day. And then you miss a day, God forbid. And it's like, I blew it, and you start all over. You have to just listen to your body, move your body. If you're hungry, eat, which sounds very simple, but for so long, I thought that like restriction and starving myself was a way to save calories. Now I eat when I'm hungry. I honestly, Douglas, I eat what I want. And it's almost like that satisfies my brain. My brain is like, oh, I got fish tacos. I got what I wanted. Do I eat all 4 fish tacos that come on the plate? No. I eat one, I check in. Am I still hungry? Yes, I'll have another one. You don't need to just finish the plate mindlessly. It's just about being intuitive. Intuitive eating is a whole practice. You listen to your body. If you're hungry, you eat. When you're satisfied, you stop eating, not when you're full, and move your body. I feel like when you talk about dieting, you may lose weight on a diet, but it's not sustainable. And if you're not committed to do that the rest of your life, as soon as you stop, the weight's going to come back on. So it's just living a balanced lifestyle. Have what you want. Don't have it, like you said, after every meal or every 20 minutes. But if you want ice cream, have ice cream every day. Have a couple spoonfuls of ice cream, and you'd be surprised that your brain is satisfied because you got ice cream. You don't need a pint of ice cream. And when you know that ice cream is allowed and not completely off limits, you're not going to quit on your healthy eating plan.
Also, it's funny you said about don't clean the plate. I can't tell you how many parents said, clean your plate. When I grew up, when I was a kid and I'd go over to other kids' house for dinner, they all said the same thing. My parents said this, clean your plate, don't waste food. And I think it's a terrible thing to do, especially as you get older and, weight becomes a problem.
Yes, and I have such a problem with wasting. Like, I didn't grow up in poverty. I don't know where it came from, but I don't want to waste anything. And now as a mom, it's like I find myself like finishing my kids' chicken nuggets because I don't want to throw it away. But this is what it is. Like, I thought about this and I wrote it in my book. You don't want to waste anything and throw the rest of your meal in the trash can. So you're essentially using your body as the trash can. You're just eating it so that you don't throw it away. And now all of that's going into your body. Your body's not a trash can. You don't have to worry about wasting it. Like I said, with the fish tacos, I'll eat 2 and then take it home. And now I turned back on my metabolism by eating more often. I'm going to be hungry in the next hour or two, then I'll eat the rest of them. It's not about wasting and cleaning your plate. It's about being intuitive and just taking that second, check in. Am I still hungry or am I satisfied? And it changed everything for me.
So you've been able to maintain weight. Did you have to lose weight? I mean, you look wonderful now.
Thank you. I'm in the best shape of my life at 40. And I feel like my 20s and 30s, what I did, Douglas, to try to achieve this physical ideal, restriction. I barely let myself, I barely ate. I ate salads. I would never consider anything else. I did cardio 7 days a week. I lived in this constant state of stress. Like if we would be on vacation, it was, does the hotel have a gym? I would set my alarm to get in a run on vacation. Your body is holding on to all that stress, and it produces a hormone called cortisol. It's a stress hormone that makes you hold on to fat. So it was like when I finally just calmed down, like I said, listen to my body. I still work out, and I work out pretty hard, but maybe 3 or 4 times a week. I lost 20 pounds, and I have maintained a 20-pound weight loss through 2 pregnancies. So I wrote this book for the woman that feels like you need to be on a diet, restrict your calories, work out 7 days a week. That failed me for literally 20 years. I dealt with it from 16 to 36. I thought that restriction was the way. I found this balanced lifestyle where I do focus more on weights now versus cardio, and putting muscle on your body increases your metabolism. And I eat what I want so I don't feel stressed out and deprived. And again, I've maintained a weight loss. So I had to share this formula that I finally found later in life with the woman that was me 10 years ago, still on the treadmill and still frustrated, just eating salads.
It is as much of a mindset, isn't it, as actual physical activity?
Yes, it's just a balanced lifestyle. If you are always depriving yourself, you're just going to be miserable. Nothing should be off limits. Like you said, ice cream has come up. If that's what you want and you say you can't have it, this is what happens. Either you're miserable and you're like, well, I'm not doing this anymore, or you have it and it's like, I broke it. I had some ice cream. Might as well have a pint of ice cream and I'll start over on Monday. There's no starting over with balance. It's just a lifestyle. Have what you want. Like I said, don't have it after every meal, but you'd be surprised when your brain gets what it wants, like full flavor ice cream. Like for so long, it was like fat-free, sugar-free, and I would eat the whole pint because it was fat-free and sugar-free, but I didn't even enjoy it. Now I have regular ice cream and I have a few bites and I feel satisfied. I'm not going to quit on my balanced living, like healthy lifestyle because I got ice cream. I don't feel deprived. And I maintain my weight. So it sounds much simpler. I feel like I don't work as hard and I weigh less.
Well, Erin, we do have to wrap this up. We are out of time. Do you have a website that you want to give out?
I do. Squatsandmargaritas.com is my blog. And then Squats and Margaritas podcast is wherever you get your podcasts.
And the book is called Squats and Margaritas, and it is available now?
It is. It's on Amazon.
Okay, super. Thanks so much for coming on, and thank you for the advice. I appreciate that. Best of luck with your podcast and your book.